Welcome back to another episode getting stuck into all the repairs required on the Perentie. We run into dramas attempting to remove the front shocks, as the lower nut refuses to cooperate, so with a quick blast to Bunnings, we have the tools required to get the job done. With a little temperature coercion, we were able to undo the seized nut and remove the shock absorber. I replaced the rears a while back, as the used terra firma shocks I threw under Laz in Sydney were getting very worn out. We had snapped one of the Fox shocks at some point throughout the end of the Queensland leg of our trip, and I had these terra firma shocks laying around. You're probably wondering why I'm going from a Fox remote res shock back to a pretty standard shock in comparison. These KYB shocks are designed for a 2-inch lifted 80 series Land Cruiser, but offer close to 80mm longer than standard Land Rover stroke length. They are actually 20mm shorter than both the Fox Remote Res and the terra firma shock. We will lose some down travel, but the Perentie had so much that bushes didn't last very long. These shocks are also very easy to find throughout Oz, and at $180 a piece are very affordable. My mate's fully loaded 110 was rocking a set for a while, and the ride quality both on and off-road seemed great, so it was sort of a no-brainer. For the direction I intend to travel in, moving forward, which is prioritising hitting amazing touring tracks and locations all over Oz in some pretty remote country. The price and compactness also allows me to carry a spare, just in case. You there?
Yeah, just about. I'm at the last traffic light.
Okay, no worries. I'll pack up. Alright, see ya. Bye. The time had come to pack up and head to the pub for a Sunday afternoon beer and chips session with some mates. I knew I could get the front end out in a matter of minutes, so got stuck in. We are lacking on a vast array of tools at the moment, so the vehicle is jacked up the highest I can get it. As you can see, went a bit rogue on the diff removal. Alright, so it's a Tuesday and we're back in the shed, and you're probably wondering why I pulled out the hub-to-hub diff and complete housing out of Laz. Well, the issue is we have a minor leak in the bracing of the pumpkin that I welded on, and I think it's up in this corner somewhere. So I'm going to strip off the ends complete, just leave them as they are, and fill the housing full of petrol or wax and grease remover or something, see where it leaks out, weld that hole up, that little pinhole. It's a very slow leak, so it takes like, maybe if I clean it and put new oil in, it takes about 2 weeks to start leaking. So hopefully I can find it, or I might have to pump air into the housing to see where it leaks out with air, and then we can get that all sealed up. We can get that diff back underneath, and the reason I pulled it out now is because we had the shocks off, so that makes it, that's one thing we don't have to remove. And I had some steering arms off as well to do the steering box, and so I just thought, why don't we just strip it out now, get that leak sorted, and then after I get it registered, then I don't have to worry about doing that again, removing any of that stuff for a while. So we'll get into stripping that diff down, and then we'll find that leak, I'll show you, and then we'll get it welded shut. Right, so we have the diff housing all stripped, the diff's out, and both hubs, CVs, disc brakes all in one unit. Yeah, so as far as I can tell, I'm gonna have a better look, but all the axles wear on the spines is looks all good, which is a good sign that the diff was never bent. Also, yeah, so I've cleaned out the center, and we're make up some plates for this, so I'll make them up shortly so we can block all the ends off. And then I'm thinking that I'm gonna actually pressurize it with air and see where it's leaking. So we'll get into that. Oh, sure is. You beauty. Love that. Okay, so we've got the air compressor set up and I just had it running quickly to see if it worked, and I'll show you the outcome of where one of the most major leaks is coming from. So it's actually cracked. Hope you can still hear me. As you can see there, the top of the housing where the front pan welds to the rest of it actually has a crack running the whole way along. So that old weld has failed, right? So as you can see, so I don't know when that cracked. After I braced it, never had any major leaking, and never had any leaking for ages. And then suddenly it slowly progressed a leak. That was ages after I braced it. So yeah, let me just turn this air compressor off, and I'll show you how bad it is actually first, with a bit of so I don't know if you can see that. Oh, this might work better. There you go. That's a bad leak, man. That's pissing out air. So yeah, so let me just turn this off and then we'll talk. So all throughout Cape York and all that kind of been cracked, because we did so many water crossings and a lot of mud, and there was no ingress of water or mud into the housing when I drained the oil after doing our Queensland lap and doing Cape York. So it didn't suck in any water on any crossings. So it must have happened or failed after Cape York at some point. I do remember the leak getting worse after, way after Cape York, sort of when we were doing our southern, when we went down into Victoria and then SA. So that's cracked that weld at some point. So I'm going to TIG weld that. I'm going to put some more meat on top and I'll TIG weld that shut, and then I'll hook it back up to the air compressor and check it again for any other leaks, and I'll just work my way through until it's fully sealed. So that's fully sealed from air, so it will mean that it will not leak oil or cause any water ingress. I don't want any water ingress from crossings and things like that. So yeah, so that's it for this episode. I wanted to put this episode out earlier without having this all done and dusted, because I know that's going to be probably another couple of weeks. So if you like just having more regular episodes without things getting fully complete, drop it down in the comments and I'll keep kicking on with the updates on getting the Perentie back on registered in WA and fixing all the things that we currently have wrong with it. But yeah, chuck it in those comments below if you like watching episodes where I don't have a job to completion, if that makes sense. So on the next episode for the Perentie, I'll be showing you me welding all them up and getting all that diff housing sealed, and then hopefully putting it all back underneath LAS and then kick on with some other jobs. Thanks for watching. See you next time.